about like we spent 40 minutes talking about
Yeah. And
lifting weights and
I probably need to do like 30 minutes left, and then I need to go to bed.
oh yeah, I mean I was gonna say we could probably do 20 minutes max and then call it a
Yeah,
day.
that's great. Or call it a night. Ooh.
Yeah, I have a flight at 1 p.m. tomorrow for what's it called? Go to Orlando.
Oh, with the family?
I'm actually yeah. So it's me and my older brother and
Can you still see me, by the way?
no,
Oh, you can't? Okay, cool. What about now?
yeah.
Okay, sick.
All right, we'll go live here in a
Wait. Okay.
second. All right, we're back. Sorry
We're
about that, y'all.
back.
We're
Yeah.
unsure. Probably the hour limit the Instagram seems to have put back in place.
Maybe for at least broadcasting, because I think my lives have been like an hour and 15 or so. So it's
Oh,
probably
dude,
like
yeah. I mean, I've had 3 hour long lives on my
so
phone before.
crazy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, what I was saying is it's just like if you like that style of amp and you just want a killer amp sound that's like,
Sorry,
yeah,
Lopez. The tone factor shut down the stream.
no, that's so good. That's so good.
We love you,
Uh,
David. We love you, Kenyon.
yeah, like all respect for sure. But I just like if you want, I think what's special about mine is like it's just they're really open sounding. They feel really good. They sound like so freaking close to the actual amps. It's crazy. So if
Yeah.
you just like if you like Bad Cats, if you like Matchlesses, and you want just a killer amp sound that's like sounds like the amp, that's my stuff. Like
Yeah.
and I'll just say, man, I'm freaking proud as heck of them, dude. They sound awesome. They sound
Yeah.
so freaking good. Like, selfishly, if no one bought them, I've got killer direct amp solutions, and I don't care if
Yeah.
anyone buys them. But
Yeah.
please buy them,
Ah,
please. I gotta buy a house.
yeah. Yeah.
I just kidding, but yeah, man, that would probably be the difference between Tone Factor and me.
Yeah.
So
For sure. All right, so
very
let's
simple.
we have some limited time, so let's go ahead and go through
Let's do
kind of
this
the remainder
because
of these.
go
What?
go to the because there's someone asked earlier about the like stereo panning delay, and I
Okay.
think that was 2.2. So if you branch over to 2.2,
Yep.
I can talk about what that is, and it sounds really cool.
Sure. So this is 2.2. That thing? Is that right?
Yep, it's mono right now, but if it's in stereo, if you're listening in stereo, it's like it's um you're getting like quite a bit of panning, and like there's some cool like volume differences between the sides. It's a very freaking cool very cool thing. So he was asking, he's like thought intention and like intention behind it. So that's 2.2 so for LVX. So Teddy Tones 2 on H90 is clean, which is a micro pitch. It's the micro pitch algorithm, so it's
So
like
you mean
really
two?
really clean.
Oh. So wait, are you talking about on H90?
Yeah. So
Okay,
Teddy
hold on a
Tones
second.
2 on H90, and then Teddy Tones 2.1 through 3 on LVX.
Okay, so let me go. So I'm gonna go to 2.1, and then on H90 go to 2. Tatone's 2, right?
Yep.
Clean. Okay, so that sounds like this.
Which there's some cool, like, pretty significant tone differences between the two. Uh,
Yeah. So this
there's
is H90.
pretty bright, pretty
Yeah,
clean.
it's also left heavy, like primarily left heavy.
Interesting. Interesting.
Which makes sense. Basically, you have your I want to say it looks like you have feedback faring more towards the left.
Oh, okay, cool. That could have just been a mistake.
I mean, here's the thing, like, it's if you make a sound, it sounds like then how you want it. Then
Yep. Right.
intention's
So
fine.
yeah, but I wanted the so then if you go to LVX, it's quite a bit darker.
Yeah.
On the one, it's like really, it's actually really dark, but it's not like
Yep.
crazy textury. Like it's like pretty,
Yeah.
like it's modded, but it's not like really textured like the other one. So when you stack them, it's cool that you kind of get that, like, that like bigger than my body adrenaline kind of sound right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Like it, like that thing. It's kind of like that. Like I liked that contrast between the two.
Yeah.
So I called it clean just because the texture isn't crazy out of control, and it's definitely leaning more digital sound, but not like a bright digital in the LVX. So with 2.2, what I wanted to do was like, cool. So I'm kind of going for a cool digitally, like spacey, weird, out there kind of thing. So I was like, great. Let's see what LVX can do with that. So then doing the 2.2 ambient thing, it was like, cool. This is like a cool, really weirdo, spacey kind of vibe, and that was it.
Yeah, and kind of to glue them all together, I also went ahead and loaded up your 3 Mercury X sounds.
Ooh.
Well, so now we have, like, this is kind of the full. So right now I have Teddy Tones 1, which is your starting reverb.
Yep. Basic boy. It sounds awesome, dude. Oh,
Yeah.
God, I love that.
This
I love
is
that
Teddy
reverb.
Tones 2.
Beautiful. Teddy Tones 2 is great.
Super bright.
Yep. Now click the hold modifier on 2. There's just more.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And Teddy Tones 3.
Is out of control.
This is my territory.
Yeah, you like this is I made this like, what would Jimmy like? The more is crazy on this one too. It is a higher mix. It's just, it doesn't feel louder, but it's like it is. It doesn't, yeah, I'm totally losing my train of thought. It's definitely more, but it's beautiful.
That's cool.
I rarely use it though. Like it's so much. It's more of a tracking thing for me. Like I use that a lot in studio for big pad tracks and stuff. But like TED.1, which I do need to rename them, but TED.1 and TED.2 on Mercury X are like all you really need.
You can call him Ted Verb.
I like that. Like that's pretty.
Mostly so that you can tell the difference when you're using SysX Librarian until they add Mercury X to Predator.
Maris, if you're listening, quickly, please, dude.
I know they're working on it. So
that was frustrating for me.
Anthony Grove said he's about to switch back to Marisking, waiting for those blackout versions to drop. Dude, yes.
Dog.
I'm not much of a blackout person, but dude, like those ones.
Dude, I've been a big anti like monochrome pedal board kind of guy for forever, and I just don't understand. For me, the like monochrome. If I'm going to build a monochrome board, I have to buy these pedals. Like you're locked in, and I think that's ridiculous. But I saw, and I was like, if there's a blackout version that I can buy easily, great, I might buy it. Just because I like black. I wear black every day. That's it. But I was like, LVX and Mercury X, if they ever do one, whatever, it's fine. Well, then they posted it, dude, and I was like, it's matte black? Frick.
I know.
I was like, I have to buy this now because they look
black
so good.
And the only way you can tell the difference is because the logo is in the very front face, bottom part of it.
Oh, yes. It's so sick, dude.
I know.
So sick. Anthony, come on, dude. Come on. Join us in Marisland. It's nice over here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think he's literally just waiting for the editors, which I get it. I don't need an editor to do my stuff, but I totally get it.
I've learned to just build in the box, and it's just easier for me that way.
Yeah. Lopez said, compare the CXM 978 with the Mercury X. I have the CXM 1978. I had both on my board for a long time, and I took it off just so I could consolidate to make a more compact board. But no, it's great. The only difference I found with so obviously the Mercury X has the CXM algorithms in it. The only difference I found is one control on the CXM is not found on the Mercury X. Otherwise, they're
clock.
basically the same. Yeah. Otherwise, they're the same. So it's like if you the CXM 978 can get you like these really kind of gritty sounding reverbs using the clock control, which is on the clock button. The pre-delay control will basically change the sample rate from like from 48K down to like basically noise, right?
Yep.
And some people love that. I never really had a use for that, so it was not really a big deal to me.
For your intents and purposes, it's like they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like between I will say though the faders on CXM are freaking amazing.
I know. I have it right here. It's so I in my studio I've been rearranging stuff, and what I want to do is I want to build a little like not pedal wall, but like a section on my rack where I'm just gonna have pedals mounted to it. CXM is gonna be on there. My Night Sky is gonna be on there. Volante and my Mercury 7 are gonna be on there too, just to have like full control and do dope stuff. You know,
gotta have those options, dog.
Yeah. Another thing, Anthony Griff says he has the H90 coming in this week. That's awesome.
Ooh.
And then when the LVX and Mercury X, I can join the Texas Guitar Boy Club. Yes, you can.
I don't know. We'll pray about it. We'll pray if we can let you in. I don't know.
I've prayed about it. We've hung out in Houston. He's a dope guy.
He's worthy.
He's worthy. I took him to Miko's Hot Chicken, which is my favorite place in Houston.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
And we had a beer and had some spicy chicken.
Florida boys know how to get down.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of your presets or sounds? So we spent a lot of time on if you want to, we can go through like more like specifics on the preset level, like what Teddy Tones 1.1 is, 1.2.
The only thing I'll say, I'll add this, and then we can just hang for the next 20 minutes or so. I'm cool. Like I think we got the gist of like they sound good.
yeah. Well, they sound good, and they're flexible. They're
very flexible.
They're flexible in slightly different ways than how I like. Right. Like I said before, like the big difference between me and you, how we work with our effects is I get texture from my verbs. Yep. You get texture from your delays, and your verbs kind of just add an additional sense of space to it. Right?
Correct.
So like we both kind of get to a similar destination, but just a little differently.
Very differently.
So to me, it's really cool to see like, I would have not turned the mod up on the tape delay nearly as high because I want to have my mod high on my reverbs. You know what I mean?
Right. So so every bank is laid out exactly the same way. You have your like standard delay, and that for my function is the secondary delay for H90, and then 2 is an ambient delay. So they're all different, and then 3 is the same ambient delay. Some are slightly different, but it's like 3 is basically exactly the same as 2, but with the cassette filter on pre and dry.
Are you talking about on a 1.1 through 1.3, or are you
correct?
Talking about 1.1, 2.1, and 3.1?
No, 1.1 through 3, 2.1 through 3. They're all every bank is laid out exactly the same way. Okay. So like with like 1.3 for example, it's the same exact it's the same thing as 2, but there's the cassette filter on pre and dry. So I love doing is filtering. I love rolling off of my tone knob, and sometimes it's just nice to have that darker ambient option. And if I really want it super, super murky, I can, roll off my tone knob and still use that. But there's just a softness to 3 that I really love. Yeah. And sometimes what I do with 3 is I can't remember which ones I did it to, because just which ones sounded best. But for pitch, the polychroma function or block or whatever is just so beautiful. So sometimes I'll just like throw that in and roll it up very slightly, and then it just kind of adds a little bit of cool prettiness to those repeats. But
Yeah.
as
So
far as like,
on 1.3, you have in the pitch block you have lo-fi.
oh, cool. Is it doing much?
I don't know.
Maybe a little bit.
So
It's
I mean,
usually really low. Usually really, really low.
yeah,
It's never like
yeah,
shimmer vibe.
you have it at 7%.
Yep.
So in cassette, yeah. So cassette is on pre-dry, which you have like
Mhm.
most of the highs cut out. This is a cool sound, actually.
Yeah, it's nice, right? It sits so good too. It's just like it's like kind of an in between. If I just want a little bit softer attack,
Yeah.
and just darken up some of the ambient vibe a little bit, but like
Well, the cool
without
thing is
having to
that,
roll with my tone knob.
yeah, I was gonna say it kind of accomplishes that tone knob thing.
Yeah.
I think it would be kind of cool to experiment by having the modifier control the mix on that
Of
the cassette,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
or maybe like control the highs or something like that. What would that sound like? That would be modulate highs. I know what it is. Put on sign. Basically, give you a little bit of a wave of brightness.
That's cool. That's cool. Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I mean it's something, right? Obviously,
For sure.
it's-
Something to play with.
and obviously these are things that I would be like, oh, I want to see how that works.
Totally.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's
I
cool.
assume, and then that could be something where like you could probably put like a driver boost in front of it to kind of like pre-brighten it up. I don't really have
Yeah.
much else on my signal chain right now.
Right. But yeah, man, that's how they're laid out. It's basically all the same. It's just all different textures and different algorithms to kind of accomplish the same thing. All of them feel different. All of them sound really different.
Yeah.
But they all do roughly the same thing. It's just like some days I want it to sound like this. Some days I want to sound like that. So it's just nice to have all those options.
So in terms of how you organize them in your banks, the LVX has. Let me pull up the. So you have it's 3 banks of 3, right? So 1.1.
4 banks should be 4 banks of 3.
Oh yes, okay, yes, you're right. Yeah. So do you more or less have it set up to where like the 1.1, 2.1, 3.1, 4.1 is basically like a starting point, and then you progressively get more
Correct.
affected in the chain of it all?
Yeah, so
Right.
like 2.1, not necessarily on a bank level, but on a preset level within the bank, yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so this is 1.1, the one that we heard earlier.
Yep.
This is 2.1. Okay. And then 3.1. Where Predator's being weird.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I noticed that you have the tube preamp in pre-location.
Yep.
Okay. And then you have bank 4.
Bank 4 should be the wildest one.
Ironically, it's your most standard like stereo
With-
delay.
Go to that's funny. Do you have Teddy Tones 4 on H90 loaded?
Let me go to H90 control.
Because that's where, again, like it's kind of like all of them work together, right? So 4 with the tape is kind of the most, in my opinion, probably the most like warbly, like weird kind of
Mm,
like, and within I mean, it's weird is subjective, right? Like just the
yeah.
4, like the standard delay stack in that whole like pairing, because I feel like it's the most text. Well, we'll see how what you think about it.
Yeah.
The modulation gets weird with that. I use sticky tape for the chorus. It's
Okay.
kind of
Yeah. So
cool.
so I have Teddy Tones 4.1 and then tape. So both bank 4, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more modulated.
Yep. You hear a lot more of that like tape, like
Yeah.
you're touching the
Yeah.
reel.
Yeah. There's it's not harsh by any means, but you do have
Totally.
like there's more poke to the.
Right. Yep.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I like that one a
And then after
lot.
that, you have tape chorus. Would you
Yeah, which
do?
uses sticky tape for the modulation. It's really cool. Or for the chorus. It's a little more mild chorus, but it's still there.
Would you do LVX 4.2 with that?
No, it would still be so 4.2 and 4.3 are the ambient options. So I would like
Okay.
the essentially like with H90, all you're doing with the banks or the presets within the bank is like adding chorus or vibrato. That's it.
Okay.
Like it's
Gotcha.
not moving linearly like that.
I'm gonna turn the LVX off because I'm not really quite hearing. I'm not really hearing much on. Unless is it super subtle on?
It is pretty subtle, yeah.
Okay.
Because when you dig in with a lot of
A lot of drive and stuff.
yeah, when you dig in with drive and stuff, it does get a little gnarlier.
I'm hearing it now. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little more of a subtle option where like if you go back to like, do you have Teddy Tones 3 loaded
Yeah.
on H90?
Yeah. I have all of them.
Okay, Teddy Tones 3 on H90, go to the chorus option on that one.
Yeah. The edge one.
It's
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, so it's like really rack mounty.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot. It sounds so good.
Yeah,
I could
love
live
it
in
too.
that. I could live in that freak. That's like Dan Huff vibes, dude. I
Oh,
could live
for
there
sure.
for days, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then your Teddy Tones 2, the clean chorus. That's like your slow.
yep. It's like a Dimension C kind of thing.
Yeah. That's cool. That is super cool. So basically,
I'm proud of him, man.
So basically, your 4 banks for the H90 are all a starting thing. Um, by the way, when you're touching your
Sorry, yeah.
AirPod, it's making a big loud sound.
Sorry, my ears itching, and I don't want to mess
Yeah.
up the audio. I've taken my AirPod out.
No, it's all good. Yeah, this is cool. Let's see. Oh, we've not talked about your vibrato. You and I have very different opinions on vibrato.
What's your opinion on vibrato?
I like triangle waves for
Oh, I like triangle waves too.
for vibrato, but majority of your vibratos are sine. And
Yep.
this is the thing, and I've noticed with worship guitarists or guitarists in general who use modulation, you're either influenced by the Boss VB2
Correct.
or you're influenced by the Walrus, the Julia,
Yep.
and kind of through proxy of the Julia, the old Boss, the big pedal, whatever it was, the JC,
The CE2,
yes,
yep,
CE1, yeah,
yep,
because those had triangle waves, where one amp would be triangle wave just fully wet, and one
Yep.
would be dry, so that creates that modulation. Anyway,
yep.
and I noticed this because even Ethan tends to prefer the VB2, and I think my theory is that guitar players who are heavily influenced by the likes of like Taylor Johnson, because he used a VB2 for all his modulation.
Guilty.
Like, yeah, and when I tried going for that sound, the triangle just felt more natural to me because it was
Totally.
it was more
Totally.
aggressive, and my Sunday Vibes thing could be more like, that hurts, because
Yeah.
I want it to hurt.
It's amazing how like everything just feels different in people's hands. Like for you, like Triangle Wave feels awesome. And I remember you posting about the Triangle Wave thing a while back.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's actually a really good point. So I went and did it, and I go, yeah, I totally hear that. Like, but in my hands, it didn't feel right.
Yeah,
Like it
for
didn't
sure.
do the same, like the Taylor Johnson, like VB2 kind of thing that I love.
Yeah,
And here's what I'll say. My big gripe with like a lot of church players now is they've gone too far with vibrato, where it's just always on. It's like, you know who Dawes is?
yeah.
Okay, so Dawes, the record before Stories Don't End, I believe. I forget the name of it, but Taylor Goldsmith said, I bought a VB2 when we were tracking for that record, and I set it on a mild setting, and I could never turn it off. I just missed it.
Yeah.
And I was like, Taylor Goldsmith can do that. We can't do that. So it's kind of one of those things that I was just like, it's just now when I listen back and when I hear people's reels and stuff, it's just always there.
Yeah.
And I go, man, you think it's cool, and it just is not working. It's just not in the mix well at all. You're making the band sound out of tune. So it's like,
Yeah.
I use it for that like palm muty thing. That's like, I mean, I'm like unapologetically ripping from Taylor Johnson like my whole career. And I started listening to Taylor when I was like at a very formative year.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever he's doing is working really well.
Yeah.
So
what was your first like, holy cow, like this song and these parts are awesome? I'm assuming it's probably a Phil Wickham tune way back when.
Well, yes, it was. It was This Is Amazing Grace.
Okay.
But
yeah,
also
the vibrato and octave thing.
Yep. But do you remember when he did that Dallas project?
Yes.
Weatherford.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And
I said,
yeah.
I said, what is that? And I just I went on the hunt, dude, and it was like, oh, that's what it is. And that was see, Jimmy, you and I are old enough to remember when the only Boss VB2 you could buy was a $450 12 volt version.
Yeah.
From the 80s. That was it. Yeah, that song, dude. And like now you can just buy, I mean, everyone does that sound. Literally for the longest, the only way you could get that sound was buying a vintage VB2. That was it.
Vintage VB2 and a TB Top Boost 90s AC15. That was the move way back when.
Yep, that was freaking it.
Because he used two those 90s Korg era AC15s with the Country Gentleman Jr. That was the sound, and a full drive. Yeah.
Yep. I actually heard a story about him. It was actually a huge inspiration to design like my Matchman stuff from the H9 for the HX Stomp, and even how like the amps that I purchased and my captures and stuff. I heard a story that he used to backline a JCM 800 and a Matchless DC30. And it was just like, that's a killer pairing. And I remember hearing that story and going, oh, I'm going to try that. Yeah. And then I designed Matchman that day. And I was like, oh, that now I get it. And it was just like, it was like perfectly what I look for in amp. So anyway, he's a huge, huge, huge inspiration for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Weatherford was just like
killer, dude.
So good. And obviously we're all pissed that they never did anything else with it. Just like one EP and like, all right, see you later, guys.
Yeah, that was it. Yep. That's all the world could handle. There's that last song on that EP too. I forget the name of it, but it's huge intro, like right out of the gate. It's the like it's just a freaking guitar town.
Yeah.
It's so good. So yeah, I mean, if he's pretty good. He knows how to play.
Yeah. So
That's
like
for sure.
in contrast, since I have the H90 editor up, this would be like my vibrato sound, like my
Yep.
delay sound, which would be, let me see. I think it's, yeah, so this would be like the equivalent for me, like my JRig digital .8 and like my vibrato.
Totally.
And of course, because I'm a glutton for my reverbs, I would do
Yep.
like, which is funny because like I think depth wise on the vibrato were similar,
Very similar. Yeah.
but the waveform
Makes a
really
big difference.
shows through for me. So like,
Yep. And that sound is great.
yeah,
It works perfectly. Yeah.
It really is interesting, and I've said it 3 or 4 times in here, but like we get textures different ways, and it's
Big time.
really cool to hear because like obviously I have a lot more reverb on my starting preset
Right.
than you would too.
Yep.
And then of course I would
Yep.
also have my my panning delay, the Digipong.
Yep.
So this would be like
That's
my if I was going for that ultra vibrato sound, you know?
Yep. That's killer. Let's do this. We probably have like 3, 4, 5 more minutes. Are
Yeah.
there any comments in there that we could
Yeah.
end with or not?
Yeah, do you guys have any other questions for Jake or me? More for
Yeah.
Jake.
No, for both of us.
A lot of people commenting on retro reel for vibrato. That's cool.
Yep. It's no, I would not use retro reel for vibrato. For
Is it-
HX Stomp, I would not do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not. I did not design it that way in my HX effects patch. Like that's. I think retro reel is really cool, but not for vibrato.
Yeah. I've still never owned one. So I have
They're
no
cool.
idea.
You would not like it. You would
Yeah.
not like it.
I mean, I've used one before from friends, but and obviously it's fine. Like they're all usable sounds, but
Totally.
Like,
It's a depth thing though. Like it's just it would be limiting for you.
yeah. Let's see what else we got. Not that many questions. I mean, obviously a lot of people commenting on vibrato. A lot of people say Julia can go back to the ocean. I think you're wrong on that one.
I like vibrato.
I think.
Or, I mean, I'm sorry. I like Julia.
I think the Julia is probably their best pedal, just by far.
I agree. I agree. The V1 Julia is so freaking good, dude. I remember having a VB2 and a Julia on my board for the longest. And I remember going, oh, yeah, Julia can do VB2 sounds. And I compared them. I dialed them in, and I was like, they literally could not be more identical. They're exactly the same. They nailed it.
It's weird.
I didn't love V2, though. That was my opinion.
Yeah.
I didn't love it.
I don't even know what version I have. That's
a V2.
It is? Okay.
That's a V2, yeah.
What's the difference?
But it's still killer.
Do you know what the difference is?
No, I don't. I probably I think they did the soft switching.
Yeah.
I think you can do momentary on the V2.
That's cool.
But as far as processing, it does sound and feel different to me.
Yeah. Will Chen in Instagram said, "Can we hear the Mercury X presets?" I can pull them up again. We did play through those earlier.
Yeah, dude, duh.
So this is his TED 1 preset on the Mercury X. Let me turn the drive off.
And each has a hold modifier for more, so it's just like 1, 2, 3, and each one has a more switch.
Yeah. So this is. And you're using? Do you remember what reverb algorithm you're using?
78 Hall.
Okay, 78 Hall. That's TED 1, 78 Hall. The hold modifier. Just to give you more, that's cool.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. It's just bright. One thing I wish the hold modifier would ramp into it rather than just immediately go into it.
I know.
Yeah, I also wish that there was a way for me to do the same thing on my RJM. Because I've tried it.
Yeah.
And there's not a way. You need an expression control to be able to do that.
That's a bummer. Big bummer.
Cool. So yeah, that's TED 1, 78 Hall. Are all these 78 Hall?
No, 2 is Cathedra.
Okay. So this is TED 2, Cathedra on the Mercury X. Dude, Cathedra is so good.
It's so perfect.
It is so good.
It's like a big ol' RV5.
Oh my gosh. I rediscovered a Cloud-ish preset, literally called Cloud-ish, that I made a long time ago when I first got the Mercury X with Cathedra. And I actually kind of went back to using it because it's so nice. I mean, like I said, I'm not obsessed with Cloud, right? So the name probably doesn't really matter, but it's Cathedra.
Yeah. It's just beautiful, man. Do the more switch on it. Do the hold modifier. I just sit in that all day, dude. The stereo imaging in that one in particular is just... Yeah. It just sounds like you're in the room, dude. It's so beautiful.
I'm going to pull back your Teddy Tones 1 and H90 1. So this would be an example of your starting sound. So this would be one, basically reverb 2, delay 1, and H90 1.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
It works.
That is a tone. That is a tone.
Yeah.
And then TED 3
is Bananagrams. It's just crazy.
Bananagrams. That is a game that my wife and I played when we were dating.
My wife hates that game, dude. I love that game. I love Bananagrams. My wife hates it, dude.
Yeah. All right. So this is TED 3.
There's some weirdo stuff in that one.
This is like up my alley.
Yeah, this is again. I was like, what would Jimmy do? WWJD.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're using Prism for that.
Yep.
I've noticed that a lot of guys who are switching to the Mercury X from the Big Sky, they're really gravitating towards Prism.
Yeah, I would say it's one that you need to be really careful with.
Yeah.
It gets out of control really quickly. I would say that 78 Hall, I mean, dude, they're all so good. Like, it's just hard to say. It's like, the question I get asked is like, what's the Cloud-ish? And I go, no, there's none of that.
Yeah.
Like, because I think Cloud is just not great anyway.
Yeah.
But like,
the thing is, what people want is they want the slow onset of the verb. And you can do that technically in any of them. I think Prism and Cathedra do it best.
Yeah.
But really, it's like, dude, I don't want to sound like Cloud. I want to sound like me.
I want to you want to sound like Jimmy, and I want to sound like Jake. So like, Cloud just sounds like Cloud. And to me, like the Cathedra, it's like if you the problem that guys go is like, great, the sound that I have, I want to try Mercury X, but I'm a Big Sky guy and I can't divorce myself from Cloud, so I'm going to put Mercury X in a box and go, I have to get this sound out of it. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. They're so different. Like, I would say if you're willing to spend the time, Mercury X will blow your freaking mind.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Yeah.
that good. So
Yeah.
it's like forget all your
Or get your Mercury X presets, or try mine out, because
yeah,
because we've done the work to produce
totally.
a wide array of sounds and
Yep.
textures. Some of
Yep.
them are familiar, some of them are not. It's like, I think, because that was the issue with people when Mercury X and LVX were really starting to become a thing. It's like, oh, like people want simplicity. Like, yeah, like, simplicity is easy. Like, just don't go into the other sections. Like, just go through we're talking about like moving a few knobs, and it's like, yeah,
Exactly.
you can make a basic delay, you can make a basic reverb. It's like, just because you have the tools to make something incredibly complex doesn't mean that you need to.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
I think that your starting reverb and your secondary reverb are really simple and basic but big
Yep.
reverbs.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly. Exactly. And
So
that's
like,
that's the beauty of it, is like it's as how deep do you want to go? And
yeah,
Prism is like going pretty deep, but for me, just with reverb, it's like I know what I'm looking for. I want I want it to just smear everything together, but if it can do it in a really pretty way, then I want that. And
yeah,
Mercury X was that answer. Like I told on my Q&A the other day, I was like, dog, there has to be something earth shattering to dethrone Mercury X for me. Like I've always wanted Mercury X, and it just is new. It's only been out for like a year, and
yeah,
it's like this is hands down the best reverb I've ever used.
yeah.
It's not even a
Yeah,
question.
yeah. Honestly, and a lot of people on YouTube that I respect a ton kind of came to that. Like, and the Arnie and guitarists kind of came to that same conclusion too. It's like the sheer flexibility that it gives you
Dude,
is really unrivaled in the pedal world. It's
yeah,
not
I
that,
know.
like, I mean, it's damn near close to a
A plug-in.
lexicon
Yep,
verb,
it is.
or like an eventide rack verb,
It is, dude.
but
The the
size
thing
a
that's
little bit bigger than a Big Sky.
right. The thing that sold it for me was the first time I strummed 78 Hall, like on a big setting, like a high mix setting. It literally, like I was wearing cans, and if you could close your eyes and imagine yourself in a big space,
Yeah,
um, like you hear the reflections in 360.
yeah,
Like you hear
yeah.
you hear a clap go off, not just like omnidirectional, like one way, or well, no, sorry, like just monodirectional, like where it's just like, cool, this just sounds like a space. Like you hear it 360 all around you, all encompassing 3D, whatever you want. And that's to me what I heard with Mercury X. And I heard like even like in different points of the stereo image, it changed. Like it was different in at 10 o'clock than it was at 3 o'clock. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like it was just all so different. And I was like, this is it. There's no
Yeah.
question. Like this blows my mind. And it still
Yeah.
does, man. Even
Yeah.
the simplicity of my stuff, like I'm very functional with reverb, but if I can make it pretty, then I want it pretty. And
Yeah.
Mercury X is just it. It's just
Yeah.
killer. It's
Yeah.
perfect. So if you're for all those listening, just dive in, man. Like you're probably a Big Sky boys wanting to upgrade to MX, save some money and get Mercury X, dude.
Well, the interesting thing is, like,
Oh, shoot.
some of the like Bethel guys
I
who,
saw
like,
Kenyon use their Mercury X. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, he's straight up switching,
yeah. It's because
switching.
it's freaking killer, dude.
Yeah, and when I saw him post about it at first, I was like, talk me through your reasoning, because, like, yeah, obviously you're a part of an influential worship guitar world, so it's like, and his
Yep.
reasoning was, dude, the same as ours. It's like the Big Sky MX came out, and it was kind of the same thing. It's like more features, but it's still the same thing. And if you want a change and you want to grow in a sound and texture world, like, dude, like, there are other options, and the other options are really good.
Really, really, really good. I would even say like New Neighbors Illumin is really good too.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's not just like it was not for me. It didn't feel right, but I was like, this sounds great, and it's definitely like more hi-fi than Big Sky is. Like Illumin's awesome. That's Mr. Saint Pope himself, his preferred reverb these days.
yeah,
So
Yeah, Nunaber, they made some really really great and challenging stuff very very
the
early
O
on.
the OG wet. Actually, I think V2 wet is amazing. That was
Yeah,
my first wet reverb, and I loved it because it was like it's like a bigger RV5. You
yeah,
know, like it's just
dude.
at the time that was it.
And to those of us who grew up playing RV5s, that is kind of that's the tone that's like shaped within us, you know?
It's just hard to escape. People go like the people that ask me are kids. Like they're like 20-year olds, 18-year olds, and it's like, why are you so obsessed with RV5? And it's like, because it's freaking perfect.
Yeah,
Like it's just awesome, and it's like it's very limiting. And the thing with RV5, I think I said a long time ago, is like ideally I just have like three RV5s, but it just can't do what I want reverb to do. And
yeah,
it's like and again, what back to what we were talking about with timeline, it's like all I want is like 5 to 10% more, and Mercury
yeah,
X does the 5 to 10% more in function. It's like 100% more in audio quality
yeah,
and depth and stereo imaging and all of those things. But like, dude, RV5 just is so good. It's just awesome. It's noisy. It's weird. It's does one thing, and the reverb always sounds the same, but it's just
yeah,
freaking awesome, dude.
yeah. I made a really compelling RV5 verb sound on the H90, or sorry, on the H9, like 10 years
Oh
ago,
yeah.
and it was
Yep.
my main reverb sound for years.
Yep.
When I sold my H9s and eventually got the H90, I was like, I wonder if I still have this. So I found
Yeah.
them, and
Yep. My
bright and
yep.
modulated.
Yep. My Big Sky patches are they're RV5 patches, and
Yeah.
they sound identical. It's crazy.
The
It's
cool
the
thing is
craziest
that
thing ever.
so the H90 for me is placed before the LVX, so it's
Uh,
actually kind of a cool thing
yeah, I love that. I love reverb before delays like that. It's super cool.
because then you can do the true like reverb before delay, then another reverb. So if I have
Totally.
like the H90 doing a verb into the LVX into the Mercury X, get some really cool
Yeah, it's
textures
so
that
good.
way.
It's so good. Bro, I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, thanks for the hangs, bro. It was fun.
Yeah, dude. Guys, thank you so much for hanging with us on Wednesday Night Live. It's been in the words of a
Yeah.
good it's been in the words of a good friend of mine from years ago. He said it's been real, it's been good, it's been real good.
Yeah. I like that. I like
Cool.
that.
Well,
Thanks, bro.
yeah, Jake, thanks so much for hanging. And obviously, if you guys are
Yeah, man.
interested in expanding your tonal world and your textures, check out his presets. I believe
Thanks,
they're all
dude.
probably all available. You can find. I'm assuming find a link in your bio or your
Yep.
multi-tree link or something like that.
Like and subscribe.
If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe to my page.
Yeah.
Help me get my Instagram account past 6,000 because I'm like 10 away.
Come on. Do it, Lord.
Sick. Well, Jake, you have a good night, guys. I'm gonna
You too,
hang
buddy.
around for like another 5 minutes or so because I did see some other questions come in. But Jake, you have a good
Sick.
night and take it easy.
Yeah, see you, buddy.
Bye. Y'all, that was fun. That was so much fun. Jake's a good guy. See, there's a few comments. Anthony Grove said the modulate on the RV5 is the GOAT, 100%. Jimmy Gem says RV5 is really so good. Lopez Pardue, you got a question. Hey, Jimmy, why do you use a CXM instead of the Mercury X? Is it more hi-fi? So I have both. Currently, the CXM is not on my board right now. What's on my board is just the Mercury X, LVX, and H90 in terms of spatial effects. To me, when I had the CXM, it was kind of a form factor thing that I really enjoyed having. And so, and I liked the idea of layering reverbs. So an example would be, I would have the Mercury X to be like a little bit more like brighter and pristine. And then the CXM would be like a little bit more grittier with more like texture to it. So that's how I would use it. Cameron Abrams says, so sad that so many haven't experienced modulate setting on the RV5. Yeah, I agree. It's a killer verb. Anthony Grove said it's still a big knob. One of my other pedals is stuck on the RV5 mix knob. Yep. I'm pretty sure we all did. This is proof and evidence of millennial guitarists in the church world. Will Chen, that was super cool, guys. Thanks for your hard work, dude. Yeah, man. Obviously, Jake did his hard work on his stuff, so glad to do it. Tim Powell, appreciate you guys so much. Still new to this and so much to learn. Yeah, cool. All right, guys, I'm gonna play out just for a few more minutes. More welcome to hang. Otherwise, have a fantastic Wednesday night, and we'll see you next week. Have a great night, y'all. Thanks.